For the hip flexor training, these devices here allow us to attach the cords behind the legs. You got a right and left that are labeled. You slide them over your legs. And this is an adjustment strap that adjusts the height of the hip flexor. You want this band on both hip flexors to be right above the kneecap. Okay, if you pull down on this, it's going to raise the hip flexor on the athlete. If you lift this tab here, you're going to be able to lower the hip flexor. You don't want this riding too high on the athlete's leg or they're going to have too much leverage. Okay, you want it down right above the kneecap. So here I've adjusted both hip flexors right now. They're right above the kneecap. And for on-platform hip flexor training, the way you can configure the machine is the same way as for the jump training for the arm loading. You've got bands 5, 6, 7, and 8 in the corners of these rails here. Now, a stronger athlete would start facing this way, connecting the thicker bands 5 and 6 to the back of the legs. If I'm a younger athlete, you'd put the platform on this side, and they'd be hooking bands 7 and 8, the lighter resistance bands, and starting with that. So I'm going to start out using bands 5 and 6 connected to the back of my legs. And the key is here we want a very explosive high knee drive, both legs. And to keep it simple, just like with the jump training, 5 to 6 reps on each set. For the hip flexor training, you can do it in about 90 seconds. You're basically doing 5 reps per leg. It's going to be 6 sets total. So what we're going to do for a high-level athlete, you're going to hook up to 3 bands to each leg. Start with 1 on each leg. You're going to go to 2 and then to 3. You can, of course, if you want to make small incremental adjustments, I can just extract these red bands out the back on the top side to increase the resistance in small increments. So for the first time an athlete does this, you're only going to use 1 band on each leg. No matter how good they are, you're only going to use 1 band on each leg. They're not going to go 100%, they're going to go 50%, because the hip flexors, I can guarantee you, most athletes have not trained their hip flexors like this. The difference between putting a rubber band between your ankles and leaning against a wall and doing a high knee drive in this is astronomical. And the key here also is this machine, because the band already has resistance on it, I've got a useful load applied to my knee as soon as it begins that upward movement. Okay, the band's not slack. That's the key thing with this machine. So a young athlete, again, is going to do 1 set of 5 on the right leg. They're going to switch, do 1 set of 5 on the left leg, and they're going to go right back and do 1 set of 5 on the right leg, and then the left leg, and they're going to do that until they've completed 4 to 5 sets on each leg. It's going to take about 90 seconds and they're done. That'd be a youth level athlete, a very young athlete, 10 years old. This box will be behind me, and they'd be hooking up bands 7 and 8 to the back of their legs, facing the other direction. Now a higher level athlete, what you're going to do is you're going to do explosive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to switch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to go right back to this leg, okay? Excuse me. Back to this leg and do another 5. And back. Now when I'm done with that, I'm just going to bend down. I'm going to hook up bands 3 and 4 to the back of my leg. And now I've just made a large incremental change in resistance. If a younger athlete's ready to go to the next level in terms of resistance, you won't jump to a second band. The first thing you're going to do is increase the resistance on the single band connected to their feet by extracting them out of these cam cleats in the back. But again, for a high level, if they're powerful enough, you can use large incremental adjustments. And when the athlete does this drill, you want them turned at about a 45-degree angle. If the athlete's trying to come straight up, this band is pulling more out than it is back. So you have the athlete turn at a 45-degree angle, so when the knee comes up, the band is more in line with their leg as it's coming up. And you also want to make sure that knee gets up there pretty good. A lot of times when you get more resistance, the athlete's knee is not going to come as high. The range of motion is going to start getting limited. If it is, then you've got to use less resistance. Okay? So In this particular configuration, just like with the jump training, I'm going to go ahead and do one set of 5, another set of 5, go right back to the right leg, set of 5, back to the left leg, set of 5. And then it takes a very high level athlete to do this, but you will have athletes that can do it. You go to a 3-band configuration each leg, and that's going to be a very high level athlete to do that. So again, you'd finish up with explosive high knee drives, set of 5, set of 5, set of 5, set of 5. Now that configuration you just saw me sequence through from 1 to 3 bands, doing all those sets, will take about 90 seconds.